Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Love, here with your Ring of Honor. Yes, Ring of Honor. First on the podcast, Supercard of Honor 2022 review. Supercard of Honor happened on Friday night, in hindsight of a big week. Well, it's a big weekend nonetheless, pro wrestling. Friday, WWE Hall of Fame, AEW Rampage, and Supercard of Honor. Yesterday was WrestleMania Night 1. Today's WrestleMania Night 2. So, a big weekend nonetheless for pro wrestling. But as far as Ring of Honor goes, while I said WrestleMania Night 1 yesterday, I will say this. Cody Rhodes, he showed up at WrestleMania, looked great. The match with Seth Rollins was very good. So happy for him, and hopefully they keep the shine for WWE going forward. But as far as Ring of Honor is concerned, I just a little prelude. I have followed Ring of Honor since 2010, 2011 ish, and I've always seen clips. I follow the matches and the wrestlers that come from Ring of Honor, but haven't actually sat down and reviewed a whole show of Ring of Honor, but gonna do that today. But before I get into it, the review, we did get some returns, get some Ring of Honor alumni showing up at the card. The first of all, the Young Bucks, former Ring of Honor veterans and Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, they showed up after a spectacular Briscoes versus FTR match that really was kind of the main event for many, including me. They showed up and had their presence felt, and you know, FTR, you know, part 2 is happening on Dynamite, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday between Young Bucks and FTR, but that not really a surprise. What was kind of a surprise was at the end of the show, which I'll get into more, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. One of the few that was selected for the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. As no surprise, Samoa Joe, he appeared after the Jonathan Gresham Bandito main event, and it was announced by Tony Khan he will be on AEW and he's all elite. So great signing for AEW, and you know, Ring of Honor, that reception for Samoa Joe was great to see. So now let's get into review. First, the pre-show. The pre-show. Now, many of these wrestlers, because the card was getting filled in day. Now that Tony Khan is the owner, but so there was many, or actually a few selective AEW wrestlers slash Ring of Honor alumni that was here on this card, which you like to see. But starting with the pre-show, which was okay, Blake Christian versus Colt Cabana. Now, Blake Christian, he's been around many places since his release from WWE. He's been around Impact, he's been around GCW, he's been around, and he started off this pre-show against Colt Cabana, again, another veteran of Ring of Honor, but showed some good stuff. It's been a while since I've watched a Blake Christian match, so this was nice to see. But Blake went for a Fosbury flop on the outside, but was sent crashing to the mat on the outside. So, excuse me, they were back in the ring. They had some nice back and forth. Obviously, Colt, the veteran, he has not wrestled in quite a while, I will say. But still keeps himself in good shape. Still a good hand for a good match. And, Colt hit Hilaria, which sent Blake inside out. But this one, Blake started to get his offense in. He had handspring Enziguri. Knocked Colt down his heels. His springboard dropkick knocked him down below. Finally hit the Fosbury flop, but rolled it into a reverse DT on the outside. Back in the ring, Blake hit a nice 450 splash for a near fall. Then they were exchanging on the top rope, and Colt had Blake in a fireman's carry position, dropped him on the top rope for a Chicago Skyline, and then pinned him 1, 2, 3. Colt Cabana gets the victory here. The first victory, technically, for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. Nice stuff here. And of course, the Code of Honor, shaking hands at the beginning of the match and at the end of the match. So, nice to see. So we got Miranda Alize, a release for AQA. AQA, she did make an appearance on AEW. Might have been against Jade Cargill. And she showed some good, but still kind of young in the business. She was trained by Booker T. Elise, she has a decent look. Not familiar with her, although they said that in the Ring of Honor Women's Tournament, she had a good showing. This match, You know, for whatever reason, it might have been, you know, inexperience on AQA or perhaps just styles not meshing well, but this match had some miscues, but it was okay. Um, AQA, she was sent to turnbuckle for with a butterfly suplex by Elise. Well, Elise supposedly hit a Hurricanrana second row face buster for a near fall, but kind of looked off. Kind of looked off. But at the end of the match, AQA hit the shooting star press off the top rope. Looked good. And 1, 2, 3, AQA got the victory over Miranda Elise. Good stuff there. Or okay. So we got Cheeseburger and Eli Izam versus Tully Blanchard's new clients of Tully Blanchard Enterprises. Khan and Tua Leona. Gates of Agony. They look impressive in this match. This was pretty much glorified squash match and showed some good stuff, you know, under the tutelage of Tully Blanchard, which we also saw Brian Cage waiting to show this new faction could pay dividends to all three parties because Khan and Tua definitely have a look about them, and they looked impressive. But the end came when Khan hit brutal gutbuster followed with a Samoan spike by Tua for the win. Gates of Agony gets their shine and their victory in the first match of Tully Blanchard Enterprises. So then we got Joe Hendry versus Dalton Castle. Now, Dalton Castle, very familiar with, have not seen him wrestle in a bit, but am familiar with him. Of course, he was the one to beat Cody Rhodes for the Ring of Honor world title. And Dalton is very good. Hendry, another guy not really familiar with, but showed some decent spots in this match, so he has some potential. But so Dalton was sound over the barricade, saw the match, and they were back in the ring, but the finish match, or I should say later in the match, Hendry got overzealous. It went face first in the ring post on the outside. Castle hits some modified suplexes because he does have a amateur wrestling background. He has noted that. He hit Bulldog for near full. A short of, I would say, a sky high twisted spine buster, perhaps, by Hendry for near full. And then the finish match came when off the ropes, Dalton Castle hit the bangarang, his modified Alabama slam into a facebuster by Castle for the win. And Dalton Castle gets victory to end the pre-show for Supercard of Honor. Okay, pre-show, but did enough leading into the main show. Next we go to the main card. Starting off in heck of a fashion, we had Alex Zane versus Swerve Strickland. Pretty good match. Had some cringy, nerve-wracking spots, but was a solid match to open the card. Of course, we know about Swerve. Zane, he has been around the indies, he has. This isn't his first rodeo in Ring of Honor, but did some good stuff in this match. He has a bit of I would say, of a sinister look. Just a little bit, but still works. But the spot the match came when Alex Zane hit a poison rana on Swerve on the outside of the ring. So, brutal spot there. Swerve came down his head, but hopefully he's okay. Zane hit what he supposedly calls the Crunch Wrap Supreme, was when he does a backflip moonsault, lands his knees on the back of the opponent. Good stuff there for a 2 count. Finish match came though when Swerve hit a JML driver for the win. Swerve gets victory. Here in Ring of Honor, Swerve is good. Zane, kind of like to see a little bit more of, but he showed some good stuff in his match against Swerve. Brian Cage, who we have not seen in a while since the summer, at least as far as AEW, has not been seen on AEW since the summer, since losing to Ricky Starks in a street fight. Here he showed up as the other member of Tully Blanchard Enterprises, his new client. And, still looks like a monster. Kind of shaved his head. He has like a mohawk now, but So it's Beastly. He demolished pretty much Ninja Mac. And, no surprise here. Drill Claw for the win. Ninja Mac, he kind of looks like Serpentigo. But, nonetheless, Brian Cage, we have not seen Brian Cage in a while, and we have speculated as to what Brian Cage could do going forward because he did re-sign a deal with AEW. But here, as part of this faction of Tully Blanchard with Khan, Tua Leona, can only pay dividends for Brian Cage and Ring of Honor. So, good stuff here. Well, it was also a very good match as well between two current AEW guys, Jay Lethal and Lee Moriarty. Now, one sec. On my shirts fell, but Jay Lethal, a multiple time Ring of Honor World Champion. Lee Moriarty, he is a student of Matt Sydal, and he very much held his own in this match with Jay Lethal, one of the best. Speaking of Matt Sydal, he was out there in Moriarty's corner on crutches. I'm not sure how he hurt himself. Again, I don't watch much Dark at AW Dark, and he has not been on AW television much recently, so yeah, but hopefully Seidel heals sooner rather than later. But this match is very good, very back and forth, counter for counter. And we saw, for those who have watched AEW television recently, you'll know that Lethal has been kind of tapping into a bit of a character change, almost maybe a heel turn, but what we saw at Ring of Honor was pretty much justification of that. So they're pretty much all back and forth, counter for counter to start, and Lethal was not happy about this. So they started to shove each other, but so Lethal then started targeting the knee of Moriarty, landed some suicides on the outside, baseball slide. Lee actually countered to a suicide of his own. Back in the ring, Lee hit a Pepsi version of a Pepsi twist for a near fall. Lethal hit the lethal combination. Diving elbow by Lethal was countered to a crucifix by Lee for near fall. Lethal then hit a cutter, went for a lethal injection, but was countered to a backslide. And then this one, it kind of kicked up a notch for the justification for Lethal. So the referee was distracted. I'm not sure why, but Lethal hit a low blow on Lee Moriarty and then hit the lethal injection on Moriarty for the win. Jay Lethal uses heel tendencies to win this match against Lee Moriarty. Now, on one side, it's good for Lethal, but at the same time, it's also good for Moriarty because he held his own. He is young. He is, he's only going to get better. And the fact that Lethal had to use heel tendencies to win a match against Lee Moriarty, I tell you, how it works for Lee Moriarty. So we got Mercedes Martinez. This was a little bit of confusion, which I understand. Mercedes Martinez versus Will Nightingale for the interim Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Now, Deonna Purrazzo, who is the current Ring of Honor Women's Champion, was scheduled to work or a Ring of Honor, or excuse me, a Impact Pro Wrestling event on Friday night as well. So, a bit of a scheduling conflict as she was also scheduled to wrestle Willow for the Women's Championship, but unfortunately, she went the Impact route and the interim title belt was made here. So they said that the winner, Turnably Mercedes Martinez, will face Deonna Purrazzo at a later date. So kind of the Sammy Guevara, Cody Rhodes situation with TNT title, but supposed to works. Willow, you know, haven't seen much of her, but she did wrestle Purrazzo at the Final Battle event in December. It's kind of hard to say. She is pretty much, she's peppy, she's fiery, she's, she's kind of young in a way. But she's okay. She's okay. Against Mercedes Martinez, Mercedes is a badass. I mean, you know, her and Deonna have history. Kind of confused how this match is going to go, but Mercedes wins here with a grounded Dragon Sleeper for the submission victory. Well, the other thing, Ring of Honor could use a bit more women. I think people have complained as well about the lack of women's division in Ring of Honor, but I figure with this Ring of Honor being owned by Tony Khan, perhaps we see more AEW women kind of mesh with the Ring of Honor women's division, like we saw here with Mercedes, and it can work. It can work. But Mercedes Martinez for Tiana Perazzo will happen for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So we'll see when it happens. Then we got the main event in many people's eyes. The Briscoes, them boys, versus FTR, the current AAA Mega Tag Team Champions. They face off here for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. I mentioned Samoa Joe being elected for the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. The Briscoes also members of the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. 12-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, as expected. It's been a bit since I've seen a match of the Briscoes, but I have seen my fair share of Briscoe matches against Motor City Machine Guns, against Young Bucks, against SCU, against etc. But it's been a bit, and seeing this match first FTR. Also, apparently they won the Crockett Cup for the NWA, so good for them. But singles match here, I was rekindled to see how good the Briscoes are against FTR. Almost a dream match of such, but this was fun. Very fun. So, Mark Briscoe, he has some big chops on deck. And Dak fired back with some right hands. They're on the outside, and Jay Briscoe hit a tope con hero on the outside. FTR, they actually catapulted because there was the announce table on one of the tables on the outside. FTR catapulted Jay into this table, and Jay Briscoe was busted open. Dax was feeling the effects because he was opening the wound on Jay's head. Dax is superplexing, and this was now Jay's getting beat down, so Mark has to get into the match. Big tag Mark ran roughshod. The Briscoes had very good Razor's Edge, neckbreaker type of combination for a deer fall. Cash hit a tornado DT. Or actually, I'm getting my head myself. Dax hit a beautiful rebound powerball on Jay, and Cash hit a frog splash for their fall. Cash then hit a tornado DT on the outside on Mark. Jay actually suplexed Cash from the inside ring to the outside. Brutal spot there. The Briscoes then went for a doomsday device, but FTR countered and hit the big rig for the win. FTR is now not only the AAA Mega Tag Team title champions, but now the Ring of Honor Tag Team champions. Oh man. Afterwards, there was respect between both teams in the middle ring. Then all of a sudden, the Briscoes were met with super kicks by the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks made mention of they left Ring of Honor, helped build AEW, that purchased Ring of Honor. So the match with FTR Part 2 on Wednesday should be fun. But I think this result here kind of makes Wednesday a bit predictable. You know, Young Bucks perhaps now beating FTR for a second time. And they take those titles to AAA. We'll see, but should be fun. But yeah, the Briscoes versus FTR was worth every do that people paid up. So then we got Rhett Titus versus Minoru Suzuki for the Ring of Honor television title. Now, Rhett Titus, not familiar with. He did win the Ring of Honor TV title at Final Battle. He does have. He kind of looks to me like JD Drake of the Grizzled Young Veterans. Kind of looks like that, but a bit bigger, I would say. Minoru Suzuki, you know, any match of Minoru Suzuki is going to be hard hitting. It's going to be a fight. And that's what this was. Not kind of a short match, but Suzuki gets the victory here. God style power driver for the win. Minoru Suzuki, now the new Ring of Honor TV champion. A little bit of history here. Minoru Suzuki's first American championship. Suzuki, a legend in New Japan Pro Wrestling, now wins his first American or US title. Good stuff there. What was also good was Josh Woods versus Wheeler Yuta. Now, Wheeler Yuta, again, for those who watch AEW, will know that Wheeler Yuta is one of the young, fast-rising competitors in AEW. And that's what you like to see. You like to see these. I mean, AEW, we're seeing it more and more. They're building new stars slowly but surely. Will Yuta is looking to be one of those guys. Here against Josh Woods. Josh Woods did good as well for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. But Will Yuta actually rolled up Woods for the victory and is now the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Now, William Regal was on commentary, and this little feud with Will Yuta, the Blackpool Combat Club, it's interesting to watch. And with William Regal watching, you can tell he's only going to get more impressed with Will Yuta. And great to see for Yuta getting more and more shine. And he's only going to get better. No surprise. Main event. Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito for the Undisputed Ring of Honor World Championship. Now, again, I have not seen like the Briscoes, I have not seen a Jonathan Gresham match in a bit. I have been familiar with Bandito. You know, Bandito's good. You know, Jonathan Gresham, you know, he doesn't blow you away with his wrestling style, but he's just very tooth and nail with his style, and it's definitely very good. One of the best. And you look at Jonathan Gresham, and he just looks like a babyface. He looks like that underdog kind of babyface that you want to root for. And I'm sure that due to social media and him being with Jordan Grace, he probably does not get billed as that by social media, but nonetheless, he's one of the best in the world. Bandito as well. How fitting that Ring of Honor and the Code of Honor was basically what did Bandito in here. So, Gresham hit a tope on the outside, but Chavo Guerrero who was in Bandito's corner, helped him move out of the way, and you know there was a bit tension between Bandito and Chavo, but match worked out well. So Chavo, he hit Gresham with one of the Ring of Honor titles. Bandito did not like this one bit. He told the referee, and the referee had Chavo ejected. So there was that leaning to the code of honor. Bandito, I must say, impressive feat of strength. Now, Gresham isn't the biggest guy, but so impressive. Bandito held Gresham up for a vertical suplex with what seemed like a minute. You know, solid feat of strength by Bandito. He hit a 21 plex for an air fall. Gresham rolled up Bandito for the win. And, you know, Gresham is now the undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion. Afterwards, Jay Lethal was out there with Sanjay Dutt. He demanded to be the next challenger for the Ring of Honor World title. But Gresham dismissed the challenge. So Lethal and Dutt took matters in their own hands. And then they held up the Ring of Honor Championships. And out came Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. He came out there, he was not too pleased with Jay Lethal's tactics. Great to see Samoa Joe back in Ring of Honor, but only be better to see Samoa Joe in AEW. He choked out Sanjay Dutt as Jay Lethal watched. And that was basically how Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor went off the air. You know, Samoa Joe is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. He is amazing, you know, how he was let go multiple times by NXT and WWE. They didn't do much with him. Now, in a way, it was his injury issues, but still, caliber guy of Samoa Joe. Just one second. It's a little flabbergasting, but, you know, WWE's loss is only going to be AEW's gain, and we'll see. But nonetheless, that's all for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. A fun addition, a fun first. Now, have to see what Ring of Honor does going forward, but who knows if this video gets more attention. I'll perhaps do more Ring of Honor episodes or reviews. But anyways, thank you all for joining me. Again, if you like this video, click that subscribe as well as the subscription down in the box. But thank you all. Be safe. See you guys later this week for AEW reviews. But thank you all. Be safe. Peace.